Good day, I'm Marshawn Chrysler, and this is WAJ News. Today's show is devoted to the city's effort to strengthen our communities and downtown. A significant milestone was recently reached by the Jackson Police Department. The department has surpassed its goal of demolishing 100 dilapidated structures in a fiscal year. Police Chief Lee Vance and members of his department recently held a news conference at the site of the 100th demolition. They were joined by residents who said they were glad the city was making strides in its community improvement efforts. The Community Improvement Unit was placed under the Police Department in 2014. The year prior to the unit's move, no structures were torn down. The unit has also completed mandated goals. They include decreasing the 311 backlog by 46% and creating and implementing a contractor rotation list that has been instrumental in the unit's success. With the use of inmate labor, CIU has been able to address the state and city properties without any cost to the citizens of this city. To date, approximately $360,000 has been saved. To report a dilapidated structure, call 601-960-1056. Habitat for Humanity Capital Area recently announced that 4 homes will be built on Greenview Drive this fall. The project paves the way for the rebirth of revitalization of a long-standing blighted area of South Jackson. Mayor Tony T. Yarber joined Habitat for Humanity local executive director Cindy Griffin and others during a blessing ceremony for the rebirth of the street. Greenview Drive is a half-mile-long street comprised of 69 residential lots, 48 of which are abandoned, derelict, and substandard housing. Construction begins in September for 2 of the 4 Habitat houses to be built this fall. More than 300 volunteers will be working 7 Saturdays in September and October to construct the Pope Francis House and the Catholic House. A donation from anonymous donors, matched by local donations from both the Catholic and non-Catholic community, is funding the cost of construction materials. Additional community stakeholders are the City of Jackson, additional faith-based institutions in the Tri-County area, corporations, businesses, and community donors and volunteers. The Federal Home Investment Partners Program grant from the City of Jackson is being utilized for the construction of 4 homes. The best talent in Jackson will be on display for the second weekend in October. The We Are Jackson concert series will be held October 8th through the 11th. Tickets can be purchased at the local Ticketmaster's office. This is a guaranteed star-studded event. For a complete list of performances, visit the city's website at jacksonmiss.gov or call 601-960-1537. We'll be right back with more WAJ News.
Hi, I'm Mayor Tony Yarber.
And I'm Jackson Police Chief Lee Vance.
Here in the City of Jackson, we recognize that you're our #1 crime-fighting resource. So we're providing you with a tool to help us respond to criminal activity in a timely manner.
Tip 411 allows residents to text or submit crime tips. Your name is not important, your information is. Officers will receive your messages and react in real time.
My #1 priority is your safety. This tool helps us work together to make Jackson a safer place.
It's that time of year when Jackson residents are encouraged to get together on crime prevention. The City of Jackson will observe National Night Out on Tuesday, October the 6th. National Night Out events typically resemble neighborhood block parties. They are organized in conjunction with law enforcement agencies nationwide. The aim is to inform the public about various police and community programs. The city is making the event in October, which is Crime Prevention Month. We have with us in the studio, and honored to have Chief Lee Vance of the Jackson Police Department to talk about various issues in the city in terms of crime and crime prevention. Welcome, Chief Vance. Glad to have you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Well, Chief, we're glad to have you in, and as I said, honored to have you in the studio, and we just wanted you to come as you will and just talk about the importance of National Night Out and talk about some crime prevention tips that you can provide to the public in general.
Well, I'll be happy to. National Night Out has turned into quite a tradition all over this country. Neighbors come together, they cook out, they sit outside, all in an effort to get more familiar with each other, to strengthen their neighborhood bonds. And in doing so, it gives us an opportunity as law enforcement and also as the city administration to go out and join in that effort. For years now, it's been recognized that one of the best ways to combat crime is for neighbors to look out for neighbors and move into an organizational type mode to where they meet on a regular basis, They share ideas, they share concerns, and we in law enforcement take that as an opportunity to bond with them. So it's a very exciting day. We look forward to it every year. The only downside about National Night Out is you probably are going to eat too much.
That's true, right? That's exactly right. And like I said, and the other thing is geared toward neighbors watching out for neighbors, and
Sure.
you know about that. And I know we got a lot of what we call sporadic crime that happens in every urban environment in the city of Jackson, and there's certainly some things I know from your office that you can convey to the viewing audience about what you can do to make themselves and their community safer. You want to talk about that just a bit?
Sure. I'll give one example of something that I think is a very serious matter, and it still happens way too much, and that's leaving children inside of vehicles unattended. Right. Aside from the danger that it could cause by a child being overheated, you know, some of those situations unfortunately end up deadly. But we've seen situations in recent years where a driver will pull up to a store, so to speak, and have a child in a child seat in the back of that vehicle, get out to run in the store, leave the door unlocked, and leave the motor running. Absolutely a no-no, a very dangerous situation. Fortunately for us, none of those that we've experienced have turned into deadly situations, but that certainly does not mean that the next one could not end like that in that type of tragedy. So we are saying never, ever, ever do that. Numerically, the #1 felony crime that we face year in, year out is auto burglary. And fortunately, we made a lot of progress. Our numbers are down across the city, but what we want to do is eliminate this as a crime altogether, especially the ones that we can prevent. So what I mean by that is most criminals are individuals looking for an opportunity to take advantage of. If you leave your purse or wallet on the seat and leave the door unlocked, chances are, you know, you may find yourself being a victim of crime. Those are situations that could easily be prevented by just keeping your property in your pocket, or when you venture out, if it's something that you don't need, leave it at home. Other items that they target are things like GPSs. Some people have laptops, anything in plain view that may tempt a criminal to smash your window, tear open your door, and steal your property is something that we're trying to get people to go away from. And let me make myself clear about this. This is your property inside of your car. Theoretically, you should be able to leave whatever you want in your vehicle if it belongs to you. But we don't live in a perfect world. And working together to reduce crime, it calls for everybody involved to play a role. And we're asking our citizens not to make themselves easy targets. And so we just want to encourage people to practice good safety methods. If you're out, you know, we got a lot of people that like to get out pre-dawn, late in the evenings, and exercise, and that's a great thing. Obviously, we have a great climate for that. But running groups, well-lit areas, things that won't make yourself such an easy temptation for a criminal. We want everybody to do everything they can to protect themselves and help us to help you.
Right. And I hear exactly what you're saying, Chief, and I agree with you 150%. Crime prevention and certainly making themselves or reducing themselves as a target, being citizens is the best approach. And just real quickly, you know, you and I came up in a generation where one of the things that we use to combat crime in our communities is what they call the old neighborhood watch program. Would you just share just a bit how that tactic still works within communities? Oh,
it absolutely does. It sort of goes back to what we started out talking about with the neighborhood watch. And certainly we have individuals in our police department that specialize in that. And anybody that's interested in organizing their community, they need to call us, 601-960-1389. We'll be glad to come out and help you to get your neighborhood organized, because it's proven time and time again that that is a direct deterrent to criminal activity. And when we look around the city, those that are organized I would tell you straight up, they are safer communities to live in than the ones that are not.
Well, I can also say, just being a resident here in the city of Jackson, that we're safer under your leadership.
Well, thank you.
Chief Vance. And I want
Thank
to
you
say
very
that
much.
very publicly. Thank you for the services that you provide to our city and making our communities a safer place. But as you have said, you cannot do it alone,
Right.
and you need the assistance of the public. And so
Exactly.
we will have you back in, and we'll leave with the fact that we're going to have a very lively national night out, and we're going to try not to eat too much food.
Yeah, I
but
know.
we're going to be as safe as we can be.
And we encourage everybody to come out and participate. We look forward to interacting with the citizens of this city.
Well, thank you for being a great guest, Chief. I know we'll have you back in the studio. Thanks again for all that you do.
All right. Thank you very
We'll
much.
be right back with more WAJ News.
AmeriCorps strengthens communities and develops leaders through community service. Are you ready to make a difference? AmeriCorps allows you to use your energy and talents to help others while earning money and gaining job skills. If you are age 18 or older, AmeriCorps is waiting for you.
Welcome back to WAJ News. You still have time to take part in the Food Truck Friday. This is an effort to support Jackson's growing food truck industry and motivate citizens to visit and eat in downtown Jackson. Food Truck Friday is from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Friday until October the 9th. The City of Jackson, in partnership with the Metro Center Mall, is hosting the 2015 Jobs for Jacksonians Career Fair on Wednesday, September 30th, 2015, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Metro Center Mall. Over 100 companies will participate in the 2015 Jobs for Jacksonians Career Fair. Hiring companies will conduct on-site interviews. Mr. Jonathan Barnett, the city's coordinator of Jobs for Jacksonians, is in the studio with us today to provide more details about the career fair and the program itself. Welcome, Mr. Barnett. Glad to have you in the studio again, quite frankly.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So what we do, as you remember from last time, Mr. Barnett, just come as you will and talk to the viewers about this upcoming event. I know
Yes,
it's
sir.
important.
Well, most definitely, this is our annual career fair. As a matter of fact, the title of it is the 2015 Jobs for Jacksonians Career Fair that you just mentioned. And it's one of our services that we provide here with the Jobs for Jacksonians program. Every year in the month of September, we get ready for this event here. And it's a big deal because many people now that we've had it for several years now, they look forward to this career fair because it's an excellent opportunity to help people with career opportunities and also to gain gainful employment, if you will. And definitely this year here, we're still on track and on pace to attain over 100 companies. Currently, as it stands right now, we have 105 companies that have currently registered with this career fair this year, and we're very excited about it. We have some great companies. They have a lot of job openings, and we intend on helping a lot of people and being a positive impact in a lot of people's lives here in the city of Jackson.
I'm recognizing on the front end, and I'm probably putting you on the spot with this, but if you can think of some major companies that you anticipate will be participating, I'm sure the viewers would like to know some of those companies that might participate.
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, we're very proud to have Ingalls Shipbuilding. It was a major shipyard on the coast region here within the state of Mississippi. One of the largest companies in the state of Mississippi at large is participating. We have a lot of department stores are participating, such as Lowe's, Walmart. We have companies such as AutoZone, Advanced Auto Parts are participating as well. So currently what we want to do is help individuals. It doesn't matter if a person has blue collar work experience or white collar work experience. We want them to have that opportunity because a lot of companies are coming there with a multitude of open positions. And definitely what we strive for is we want to help people to be able to be engaged to enter the workforce there. And so, yeah, I mean, we have some very, very Fortune 500 companies will be in participation. And that's one of the things I will say that the jobs program hangs its hat on.
Well, so what you're saying, it'd be a wide range of contractors, vendors, and or service providers that will be on hand.
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, it's across the board as far as the dynamics of different job opportunities out there. Definitely from construction work, manufacturing work, medical staffing agencies will be there as well, hospitals, school districts, hiring across the board, not only just teachers, but also we need individuals to feed our children in the schools, so definitely from cooks, et cetera. So definitely the opportunity is there. A lot of hard work has taken place as far as preparing for this career fair that is upcoming, and every day is a step towards achieving our goal as far as helping people achieve their economic opportunities.
Well, you know, another good thing about this is the opportunity to give some good, helpful tips for those who are seeking jobs. Can you give us a couple of tips about what they need to do when they come to the
Yes, sir.
career
Yes,
fair?
sir. Well, the first thing is the career fair starts at 9 a.m. sharp.
Yeah.
I intend and I hope individuals be there at 8:45.
Sure.
Get there early. Make arrangements if you have children to make arrangements for them prior to the career fair. Also, to have a resume ready. As a matter of fact, if one does not have one ready, they can definitely give us a contact or give us a call rather here at the Jobs for Jacksonians hotline, which is 601-960-0377. And we can definitely walk with those individuals to help them to have a professional resume. Also, too, I encourage people to dress appropriately for the career fair.
Sure.
Because it's nothing like, you only have one time to make a great first impression. And you want people to be ready to, if it was up to me, everyone that was qualified would have a job. So definitely being dressed, being prepared, having a resume ready, having that leadership and professional quality about you will ensure success for them.
Well, I'm glad to hear you say that, because a lot of people come to these career fairs, as you know, through your vast experience, and they show up as though they might just be filling out an application. But this is the first impression.
Yes, sir.
With those individuals. Well, like I said, Mr. Barnett, this is a great program here in the city of Jackson, and we're glad to have you overseeing the program. Thank you again, Ms. Barnett, for being in our studios. We look forward to having you back. Again, for more information about this event, contact Mr. Barnett at 601-960-0377. We'll be right back with WAJ News.
The City of Jackson's current job postings.
The city is preparing to rebrand JTran. A number of public meetings have been held to discuss service enhancements and fare modifications. These modifications are being made to improve the quality of life for Jackson residents and visitors, reduce overall deficit, and to enhance transit services. Here to talk with us today about the efforts is John Ando, JTran Public Transit Manager. Glad to have you here at our studio, Mr. Ando, and I know you got some great things to share with the public. You are doing an overhaul, as they say, of JTran. So talk a bit about where we're going now with JTran.
Definitely. The first thing that we're trying to do with JTran is just make transit services better without increasing the cost to run public transit in the city of Jackson. And what I was been able to do is talk with the passengers by riding buses, holding a series of meetings, participating in the various committees that discuss JTran issues to understand what are the needs that our residents and visitors would like to see in their public transit system. Out of all the feedback and meetings that have been held, I've learned that Sunday service is a key issue, evening service is a key issue, morning service is a key issue, as well as service to outlying communities in our airport is also a key issue. So I've been able to look at our present service levels today and basically come up with some enhancements that shuffles around the service without, in essence, increasing the overall budget.
That's good, and I certainly think the citizens of Jackson, certainly riders, will certainly appreciate and benefit from those changes. And just expound a bit upon, I know you mentioned that there's some new company coming in, and a contract that is being considered right now in terms of, I believe you call it contract administrators. What are they calling
we have
it?
an operating contractor now that's going to be assuming the operations of JTran on October 1st. That company that was selected by the review committee and approved by City Council is National Express Transit Services Corporation. They're based out of Illinois, but their parent company is based out of the United Kingdom. They have approximately 25 contracts throughout the country. This will be their 26th. And they're ready and anxious to take over the operation and provide a better quality of service to Jackson residents and visitors.
Fantastic. Under your leadership, we certainly have the faith that they'll do exactly what they've committed to do for the writers of Jackson. And certainly talk a bit about some of the major changes that you see with this new management, this new overhaul that's going on.
Well, basically, starting with the service enhancements, what I'm recommending to City Council later on in the month of October is that we shuffle around the JTran service so that we can, one, create a general public dial-a-ride system. That means that we will actually have JTran service until 10 p.m. Monday through Saturday. And basically how that would work is you'll pick up a phone, call JTran, and say that you are at your house and you want to go to, let's say, Walmart in South Jackson. The dial-a-ride bus will pick you up at your door and then take you to Walmart directly, but it may pick up and drop off other passengers along the way. By doing this, we'll be able to learn where people are boarding and alighting within the city limits, and in the future, if the demand is there, we can start instituting some of the actual fixed routes, because then we know that we actually have productivity on a particular route during the evening hours. We'll also do the same thing on Sundays from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're also going to do the same thing during the early morning hours, so that for those that need to get to jobs early in the morning, between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., we will have that general public dial-a-ride service available. The big thing that we're also going to add is service to the airport. It'll be the first time in the city's history to have a public transit bus connecting downtown Jackson, the destinations along State Street and Lakeland Drive, to the airport, which has been a desire of passengers, the visitors, and those that are coming in and out of the airport.
Well, that's a perfect segue into my next question in terms of routes, and just talk a bit about, I believe there's going to be some major route changes and concerning the existing routes.
That's correct, and what we're going to be doing actually in 2016 is we're going to be hiring a consultant to prepare what is called a comprehensive operational analysis and a short-range transit plan. And I'm calling that effort Reimagining JTRAN. And how that effort is going to work is basically we have our present system that was designed in the 1940s. We would basically blow it up and start over from scratch. And we would involve the community, the council, the mayor, stakeholders, the JTRAN committees, have them participate in how should we design the perfect public transit system that can meet the current and the future needs of Jackson residents and visitors.
Let me ask you this, in speaking with that, talking about the future of JTRAN, do you see anything in the immediate distant future that will open ridership up beyond the city limits of Jackson? Has that discussion been?
That's one thing that the short-range transit plan consultant will look into, but the big part of our service enhancements that we're also going to be considering is creating JTRAN van pool. Okay. And how that would work is that we would fund 18 van pools a year with a $300 subsidy, which has been approved in the upcoming budget for next fiscal year. And commuting groups, as long as the trip originates or terminates in the city of Jackson, 5 to 15 people can rent this van from a van pool contractor that we would have. We'll pay the $300 subsidy, and it can start getting commuting groups like from outlying areas to access jobs in Jackson, or for Jackson residents that may need to access jobs outside of the city limits. And then as part of that, it will also increase our federal funding because we will be able to count the ridership on those van pools as passenger trips.
Well, that's excellent, and that is a lot of good information, Mr. Ando, and I'm sure the viewers are appreciative of that, and JTRAN seems to be going in a very positive direction, and we thank you for your leadership within the department. And real quickly, before we close out the segment, is there any other additional information you'd like to share with the viewers?
I think a couple of things, if you don't mind. First and foremost, we're going to start in the month of October a Name the Bus contest, and we're looking for Jackson residents to help come up with a new name to replace the brand JTRAN. Where as we go through the reimagining the JTRAN process, we also believe a new name, a new logo, a new color scheme for the buses would be in order. And we would institute this brand in a cost-effective manner so we're not throwing out a lot of capital as we change the name and the brand. But as part of this Name of the Bus contest, we'll have the survey on our website, which is jacksonms.gov/JTRAN or jtran.org. And people can vote on the names that are on the survey or come up with a suggested name. And if City Council approves that winning name, that person will win a special prize.
Excellent, excellent. Well, that seems like a great way to end our segment, and certainly allowing the citizens to participate in such a wonderful contest. Thank you, John Ando, for your leadership here in the city of Jackson and the JTRAN organization. We'll have you back in the studio, I'm sure, real soon. Thanks again.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with WAJ News. Good day, Jackson. I'm Marshawn Crystal, inviting you to join me here at PEG Network, Comcast Channel 18, on Mondays, 5:30 p.m. and 9:30 p.m. for We Are Jackson WAJ News. To learn more about your capital city, tune in. Mayor Tony T. Yarborough and the Division of Constituent Services are encouraging citizens to help maintain and revitalize their neighborhoods by organizing or joining neighborhood associations. Research shows that community associations have been instrumental in curbing crime and reducing community blight. Earlier this week, I had an opportunity to talk to Mr. Johnny Chrysler, who represents one of the oldest African-American neighborhood associations in the city of Jackson, the Presidential Hills Natchez Trace Homeowner Association, regarding the importance of community organizing.
You got to watch, and we have people in Presidential Hills that look out for one another. And that's what an association is all about, is that we're concerned about one another. And when we see something wrong, we report it. If something happened, it is reported. And so what we're saying is that community association will be able to have this kind of gathering that when they meet to talk about things that's going on wrong in the community, and they can correct it.
I'm now joined in the studio by Ms. Princess Barber, president of the West Side Civic Club, to discuss how effective neighborhood associations can be in keeping communities attractive and crime-free. Welcome, Ms. Barber.
Thank you, Marshawn.
So glad to have you in the studio, Ms. Barber. As you know, we're certainly encouraging citizens to understand the value of being involved in homeowner associations and neighborhood associations. And so we're going to allow you to come as you will and just kind of talk to the viewers about the importance of organizing in homeowner associations, what they can do for communities.
Okay, Marshawn, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here today to talk about neighborhoods. We're at the West Side Civic Club. We have been in existence for about 26 years now. And it's so important for us to come together in the community. Whenever things are going on, we can actually do what we need to do to notify the city. We have good relationship with the city of Jackson. So we can call whoever we need to. If it's garbage, if it's one of the houses, something's going on, we can always get someone out to do what's needed to do. But you have to have the rapport in the community in order to be organized enough so that whenever something goes on, we can call. We have neighbors we can call to come together and let everybody know, get the word out what needs to happen. We can see that with the water situation, we've had to make phone calls. Your water's off, be sure y'all boil your water and things like that. So, but you have to be organized enough to come together. And we have monthly meetings. We meet the second Tuesday of every month. And it's at 7 o'clock. And we're in our fine library that's there in our community. Because of coming together, we have a library right there. The Bulletin Board Library is in the community, and that's where we meet in the senior citizen room. So things like that is what you need to just be together in order to get things done.
Yeah, and I do understand that. Talk a bit about the response of the cities based on your history and having a long-standing organization. I'm sure that response is kind of good. So talk to the viewers a bit about the response of the city based on your organizing. Based
on the West Side Civic Club, we have very good response with the city. We have our monthly meetings, and we have someone representing the city. We have them on the agenda every month. They come out and let us know the updates of whatever is going on. If things that we need to do to make changes, we're not surprised when things happen in the city because we have someone right there. Miss Ashley Drummer is so willing to just come out and be with us, and the sheriff department is the same way. They come out and let us know. We always have a representative from the city and from the Hinds County.
And you would attribute that certainly to the a lot of participation among your members, right?
Right, we do. We have a good membership that comes out to our meetings.
Good. And so again, talk a bit about how important this is in terms of curbing crime and neighborhood blight, just a bit about that.
Okay, for curbing crime, we have a very good crime statistics with our the West Side Civic Club. Our cops meetings meet here in the Metro Center the fourth Thursday, because there's every fourth Thursday in the month. And we have a good statistic you know, telling about the crime, that the crime is down. So, and it's because we can come together, and we still have blight in the community. It's things that we need to work on, and we are working on those things to make the community a better place to live.
But you certainly would suggest that because of your organization and the participation, that has been reduced, I imagine, significantly.
It has reduced. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and that's certainly the theme that we concentrate here in the city of Jackson. Any research, as I indicated earlier, shows that type of strong participation is beneficial. Do you have any other things that you can certainly express to the viewers about the importance of homeowner association that you would like to share?
I would just like to encourage anyone who is interested in getting a homeowner association started. That way, you know, it's going to start out with 2 or 3 neighbors, but it will spread because everybody wants to do better in the neighborhood. I'm also, excuse me, the president of the Jackson Association of Neighborhoods, and we're working on getting new neighborhoods organized in the community. So it would be a great thing if we can just come together.
Well, you have a wonderful historical community. When you talk about West Side and Subdivision Number 2, which as a young man, I had an opportunity to spend many a day out there. And I can certainly say from my experience, you all have held it together well. And I certainly believe that can be attributed to you all, again, being organized. And so Mayor Yarber has mentioned on many occasions how important you all are to the community. So thank you for what you do in the community, your
welcome.
leadership within your organization. And I know we'll have you back in future months to talk more about organizing.
Thank you so much.
And thank you again. Under the leadership of Mayor Yarber, the City of Jackson has taken a more direct approach to addressing blight in the inner city communities by establishing the first public-private partnership to help address community blight, specifically in terms of dilapidated houses and overgrown lots. The partnership is between the City of Jackson and Revitalize Jackson, a subsidiary of the Community Foundation of Greater Jackson. Early in the week, I had an opportunity to speak with the Executive Director of Revitalize Jackson, Dr. Jim Johnston.
Cleaning it up is a temporary event that in 1 year, that would be grown back up 10 feet high again. That's not the answer, is one cleanup. The answer is to entice, to motivate people who care about this neighborhood to take this property and keep it maintained and do something with it.
We'll be right back with WAJ News.
Residents of the City of Jackson can report concerns to the Constituent Services Action Line by dialing 311. Those who dial 311 will speak with a representative who will complete the report and issue a tracking number that allows residents to monitor the progress of the report. When using your mobile device and dialing 311 does not work, the alternative is to dial 601-960-1111. And as always, you can visit the city's website by logging on to www.jacksonms.gov to make a report and track the progress of the report.
The City of Jackson continues to show commitment to a better quality of life for its citizens, and residents are encouraged to assist in that effort. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of WAJ We Are Jackson News. For everyone here, thank you for watching WAJ News. I'm Marshawn Chrysler. Good day, Jackson.